within my body, I didn't feel happy. I felt really heavy. And together, it's just a battle of the mind. With anything that you want to do and change within your life, it starts with a vision in your mind. Hey girl, hey guy, it's Ty, and welcome back to another episode of Ty's Adulting Handbook. On this channel, we discuss all things practical life skills, personal development, and things you just wish somebody would have taught you in order to prepare for this thing called life. So in this episode, we're going to be discussing how to gain more respect. So the first thing that I want you to remember is that how you appear in the world is how you're telling people to treat you, right? So it's unfortunate that we do live in a society where people are very vain, and the first thing that they judge someone off of is how they look with their appearance, right? You could be the sweetest, nicest person, really big heart, willing to give someone the shirt off your back and everything like that, but if you don't properly put yourself together, they're gonna look at you and judge you when they don't even know you, and it's unfortunate. But we're gonna go ahead and talk about appearance. So with speaking on appearance, these are some things you want to be mindful of, and let's start from head to toe, right? So whoever I'm speaking to, if I'm speaking to a lady or a gentleman that's actually watching right now, starting from the hair, do we look well put together? Do we look groomed? Is majority of our hairs in place, right? Did we brush our hair today? Did we moisturize our hair to make sure we're looking kept up? A lot of times we can do these kind of maintenance tips at home instead of having to pay for outward service. The next thing that we're gonna talk about are nails. Okay, so I am more so of a plain nail girly. I go and I get manicures. I kind of opted out for a while now with getting like the acrylic nails and everything like that because it was just so damaging to the nails. And then honestly, I don't like going to the nail shop. I do go and get my pedicures every 2 weeks. Don't y'all do that. Don't y'all come for me. But I do go and get my pedicures every 2 weeks to make sure my feet are in order. But in regards to fingertips, right? For the women, if you like the acrylic nails, make sure the nails and everything are kept up. Now, for myself personally, sometimes it would be a little bit more difficult for me to keep that strong rotation going with going to the nail shop every 2 weeks because honestly, sometimes you just don't have time. And imagine the in-between stages when sometimes you have nails missing here and there and it's just not a good look, right? So for myself, when I go, I just focus on getting a manicure, getting my cuticles clean, and then a gel polish on the toes. That way it can actually last longer than the 2 weeks. So for our guys, don't think that you're exempt from this as well. Women, we love to see guys with nice manicured fingertips. It's okay if you're a hardworking man, you're physical, you work construction, you have calluses on your hands and things like that, but it's okay for you to have nice clean nails as well. Women, we love to see that. In regards to clothing, now everyone has their own preference and style, and that's what makes us all individuals when it comes down to clothing and dressing for ourselves, right? Now we want to make sure whatever we do decide to put on for men and women, that our clothes are properly ironed, right? Making sure we're fitting clothes that aren't too small for our body type, right? If we like the loud colors, that's fine. If we like more of the neutral, natural tones, that's fine as well. But that's something we want to be aware of, right? Because when people look at you and they see, as far as what we've already covered, like your hair is in place, your nails are manicured and taken care of, and then your clothes are fitting well, not a wrinkle in sight, you're looking good and everything like that. Those are some things to think about. When it comes to appearance, right? We want to do the best we can to make sure that, we have these clothes that we love, but they're fitting properly. So we want to make sure that we're getting some kind of daily activity in, at least 30 minutes a day, right? If it's walking, or if we are working on more so weight management, you can actually do fasting and things like that, where you only eat for a certain window of time, and then with that you push through it and allows your body to pretty much eat the fat storage that you have, and then you'll start to lose some weight. They have juice cleanses, right? They have all these things that anyone can look into. Hey, I've done them all. I feel like it took me close to a year to lose only like 30 pounds, but it's honestly, it's all the delicious processed foods. They're not good for you, but they're good and they're super hard to get off of. Tying all this together, right, with wanting to gain more respect and understanding how you appear in the world is how you're telling people to treat you. When I just spoke about how it took me so long to lose those 30 pounds, the reason, first off, I didn't know that I gained so much weight. And it typically happens like that because we are going through life. I think that at that time, I'll be honest, I was probably working like 2 jobs. I wasn't cooking, of course. I was at Chick-fil-A all the time and I was not ordering a salad, girl. You believe me, large fry me, everything, right? But when I got to the place where I really just opened my eyes and I just realized every time it was time for me to get dressed, nothing fit. My stomach was super big. And for myself, it was just like, I didn't know how to dress myself, right? Before I knew it, I kept going up another pant size and another pant size and another pant size. And with that, right, I felt as though, and I did observe it and I did experience it, that people were actually treating me different because I was starting to get into a place where I was out of my comfort zone, but people were just not as nice to me, or simple things like holding the door or just things that you were probably used to before. That stuff was just not happening anymore, right? Within my body, I didn't feel happy. I felt really heavy. I felt really bloated. And honestly, with getting that together, it's just a battle of the mind. With anything that you want to do and change within your life, it starts with a vision in your mind first, and then you have to slowly work on it little by little to implement it until you get to your desired goal. So, few things that work for me: walking at least 30 minutes to an hour in the morning, juice cleanses, making sure I put my ginger and turmeric in there because it suppresses the appetite and things like that. And I've even done fasting as well, because honestly, when you're trying to get it going, you have to figure out what works for you. And it's not easy. If it were easy, a lot of people would do it, right? The next one that we're gonna go into is reading. Now, you may think, Ty, that's lame. I'm not gonna read. Like, why do I need to read and things like that, right? But reading does give you a sense of assertiveness in different areas. That way you can hold a conversation with different individuals. One thing that I am understanding is that a lot of us in our day-to-day work, we may work somewhere where it doesn't matter how we speak, how we talk, how we present ourselves, right? But what it will do for you, it will put you in a position to gain more respect. Say you work in a certain industry right now where, you know, there's really no place to really articulate yourself to show that you have a sense of awareness about certain things that will link you to reading, right? But you may be asked to do something by your manager where it gives you an opportunity to maybe put together email, or to be able to put yourself in front of leadership, or you want to step into a management position or something like that. They want to know that they can promote someone that has a certain level of competence, and reading does do that for you. Now, by all means, I'm not saying go around reading a thesaurus or dictionary and start saying expeditiously all the time like T.I. Nobody's saying that. But what I'm saying is that people that read, they typically gain more respect because it's easier for someone to articulate themselves and to be able to put their sentences together. I have a couple of books right now that I'm working on, because sometimes between the life of scrolling on your phone or watching YouTube or watching TV, my brain gets overstimulated, and I know I'm not the only one, right? So at night sometimes I opt for reading as much as I can of my book or one of my books instead of watching TV, because you watch TV right before bed, it can kind of keep you up and it's harder for you to get to sleep at night. So 2 books that I'm currently reading, one is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, and it just talks about these 7 steps of how to be proactive, how to think win-win, how to seek first to understand, then to be understood. And what I've taken from that book so far and how I can apply it to my everyday life is, I currently work in the sales industry, and I've been in the sales industry for about a decade now. And how it has been able to help me is just to be able to understand how to interact with different personalities. When there's a bit of a conflict and somebody does something where I'm thinking like, man, that didn't make any sense, I wonder why they did that. Instead of me just saying something to them, I would ask a question, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Ask them the question, and this is with anything in life, right? Ask them the question, that way you can have a better understanding of their thought process. And if you know for 1,000%, if you know that what you're going to say is actually factual, you at least took that time to open up the door so you can get an understanding for what they were thinking, and then you go in with what the actual fact is for the situation. So that's one thing that has helped me with that book. The other book that I'm reading right now, it's a book called The Secret, and I'm sure you all have heard about it. It just talks about manifesting anything that you want to have in this life, and you put it out into the universe and it's going to come to you, right? So if you're working on a big goal, like you want a better living situation or a pay increase at work, just anything that you're working on, you put a lot of focus and energy into it, you affirm it, you speak on it, and you put it out in the universe, and it comes back to you, right? So those are the two books that I'm reading. And it's so funny because maybe a couple of weeks ago, my current manager, we were headed somewhere in the car, and we were talking about accents and stuff like that. And she said to me, she was like, yeah, you don't sound like you're from Atlanta or something like that, she said. And she said, I sound like I'm from California, and that I articulate myself really well, like the way my words come out. Now, I know that I'm aware of that somewhat, but not enough where I feel like someone would say that to me. I guess they would just hear me speaking and that's it, but we were talking about it. So she did mention that I sound like I'm from California and I articulate my words really well. And I mean, to me, that's a compliment, right? Whereas in this day and age, I'll be transparent, I don't read as much as I would like to read, but our environment shapes us, right? The experiences we've had, the people we've been around, the places we have been for a certain amount of time, it shapes us, right? And for myself, I work for a company where I did sales, and I worked for them for almost 4 years. And foundationally, outside of the sales, they taught us a lot about personal development. So we were reading books, we were running meetings on the books, everybody was taking turns, we were running meetings for the whole office, like a 50+ head count, things like that. And that was something that really helped me, and I guess it just stuck with me. In addition to that, there is an actual organization called Toastmasters, and I heard about it a long time ago, and I actually went to one of their meetings here in Katy, Texas. I ended up going, and it was a nice experience. So what Toastmasters is, it's a organization. It's an organization that focuses on public speaking. So they did things where this was the word of the day. You know, you need to try to use this word as many times as possible. They had many different things that were going on within this meeting. It probably lasted like an hour long, and I went, and it was so enjoyable and so fun. I never got a chance to really go back, and it's free until you decide that you want to join at your own leisure, and that's something that can be helpful as well. But that's definitely a way to gain respect. I'll tell you this, when I go somewhere and I meet somebody and I hear how they speak and how they articulate themselves, and they're using that vocabulary, none of that expeditiously stuff, like just probably trying too hard, none of that, right? But they're using their vocabulary in a high regard, where it's like they're used to being around a certain caliber of people that can articulate themselves a certain way. The quickest way for someone to lose respect for you is for you to not take accountability. So the next one that we're going to talk about is taking accountability. No one likes to be around someone that points the finger at the other person when something goes wrong or something happens, right? For myself personally, I'm so big on accountability. Even sometimes if there's something that I missed and I know I missed it, I'm aware enough to speak up on it and say, you know what, I wasn't aware, I didn't pay enough attention, I'll be on it next time, my apologies, things of that nature, right? People love people that take accountability. It's like a trigger in the brain. When people see that you're holding yourself accountable and having a level of accountability, when they see that, it's like they love the fact that you didn't cower up. Coward? Courage, the cowardly dog. What am I trying to say? you didn't turn into a coward and just put your tail between your legs and just like, I don't know, it wasn't me, shrug shoulders and, don't seem to care. People love people that are accountable. I don't know why people are so afraid of having a level of accountability, but I know a part of it is because when someone is being held accountable or taking accountability, it means that they should have delivered on a promise or that they have to deliver on a promise, right? So the next one that we're going to talk about is be calm under pressure. This is a great way to gain respect. Now, typically you'll see this in the workplace, right? This is where you're going to come across a lot of different pressures at work. And what it is with that is people, they're going to observe you to see if you're sweating, right? To see if you get frantic, to see if you just completely act emotional and things like that, right? The biggest thing to understand about being calm under pressure is that people are going to respect you more versus you getting super emotional, super frantic, breaking out in sweat. I mean, the sweat part, I don't know if anybody can even help that. It's just, that's one thing that may just happen that you can't control, right? But people respect people more that are more calm because in their mind, they're like, sheesh, I would be freaking out right now. But look at this guy. He's just like firm and chill and he doesn't seem unbroken and anything like that. And that also shows a form of leadership. All the leaders in the world are being watched, right? Every CEO, entrepreneur at their business, whatever different level of hierarchy that they're in, they're all being watched and it's a lot of pressure, right? But the biggest thing that they have to do is to be calm under pressure because nobody's going to follow someone that's very emotional, sporadic, all over the place. And anytime there's something going on, they just fold. So when you're firm, you're holding yourself accountable, you remember that people are watching you under pressure, you're going to gain a lot of respect. So thank you so much for watching this episode on how to gain more respect. Now remember, how you appear in the world is how you're telling people to treat you. Now, while I'm recording this video, I felt the need to say this. As I check my analytics, it's about 99% of people that are watching me that are not subscribed. So if you are enjoying the content, if you watch 2, 3, 4 videos, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Definitely comment down below. Let me know what you think about that. Let me know if you feel like there's something that I should have added or if you've had some similar experiences throughout life or in the workplace. All right. See y'all in the next one. Bye.